it. Mufti Mohammad Saeed wins from Anantnag, is now in pole position to form the next government in Jammu and Kashmir, but it will be a hung assembly. With no party emerging as a clear winner, the hung verdict is inevitable. A realignment of political forces on the cards. Will the PDP now tie up with the BJP, or will they go with the Congress? The party spokesperson hints at a possible tie-up with the BJP in Jammu and Kashmir, even as the Congress appears to reach out to the National Conference after it performs better than expected in the polls. Ghulam Nabi Azad says he is ready to reach out to the Congress, to the PDP. The BJP's mission 44 though fails in Jammu and Kashmir, but the party makes massive gains in Jammu. The party is satisfied with what they call their best ever performance in the state. Narendra Modi, though, is unable to make the breakthrough in the Kashmir Valley that he had hoped for. The BJP is set to form a government in Jharkhand. The parliamentary party will meet tomorrow to select a chief minister. The party is at the halfway mark. The Cicero poll for headlines today is right. Okay, let's just give you some of the quick breaking news at the moment. The Deputy Chief Minister Tara Chand has been defeated by the BJP candidate Kishan Lal from the Cham area of Jammu. Remember, across Jammu today there is only one flower that is blooming, and it is the lotus. Also, Hemant Soren, the Chief Minister of Jharkhand, has won from Baret, and indeed the JMM, the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, has done better than expected. Quick word also from Omar Abdullah. He has congratulated Ashraf Mir for his victory in Sonwar, wished him and the people all good luck for the next 6 years, says he's now my local MLA. So Omar Abdullah is graciously admitted defeat there in Kashmir. Let me go now straight across to my colleague Rahul Kawal, who's going to give me a sense of exactly how the numbers are panning out in both these states, because remember, both have had close fights from the morning, particularly Jammu and Kashmir. Rahul.
All right, thank you very much, Rajdeep. Let's take our viewers through the numbers as they stand. And we'll start first with Jammu and Kashmir, where the PDP has emerged as the biggest party. Not close enough to be able to form a government by itself, but by far the #1 party. The big story, of course, here is that the Bharatiya Janata Party has posed its biggest tally in Jammu and Kashmir ever, up 14 seats from the previous election, now standing at 25. The Congress was expected to be completely decimated and routed throughout the state. That hasn't happened. The party at 12, down 5 from last time, but still not completely wiped out. The NC, the biggest sufferer through the day today, down to 11. That's a loss of 17 seats over the last time. The big story, of course, the fact that the PDP is at 33 in pole position to form the next government in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. The question though, Rajdeep, and the question that I want to put to you before we come to the numbers for Jharkhand is, will we now see an Amit Shah, Mehbooba Mufti alliance, PDP, BJP coming together? Or would you rather see the PDP come with the Congress and form the next government? Which of the two do you think is more likely?
I have no personal choice, but I think what is going to happen more likely, Rahul, is that it appears, if these are the numbers, 33 plus 12 of the Congress makes a straight majority. So it's an easier alliance to form, and the PDP is in a more dominant position. With the BJP 33-25, it becomes, both parties will want 3 years each possibly, and there is an ideological opposition that at one level the Jammu BJP has with the Valley PDP. So I think it appears at the moment that Mufti Mohammad Saeed will go with the Congress, but will extract a pound of flesh also, in a sense, from the BJP, because he will want a strong relationship with Delhi, and it will suit Narendra Modi. Narendra Modi wants to project himself as a statesman, and what better opportunity than this to reach out to a Mufti Mohammad Saeed and say, look, the centre, for example, on flood relief will go out of its way to reach out to you. So I think this verdict actually suits Narendra Modi. He'll say we are the single largest part. We've done better than ever before in Jammu and Kashmir. At the same time, we will not obstruct the formation of a government. So it won't be Maharashtra, where the BJP tried to obstruct the Shiv Sena from even becoming an ally for the longest time. So I think it's a hopeful verdict. It gives an opportunity to Mufti Mohammad Saeed, Congress and BJP.
Plan B for Amit Shah and for Narendra Modi was that they would be able to be in a position where the PDP wouldn't be able to form a government without them. That hasn't gone as per script. The PDP can form a government with the Congress as well. Let's now move from Jammu and Kashmir and come to Jharkhand, the second state. Here, the India Today Cicero opinion poll coming bang on, and we're seeing 41 seats for the BJP alliance, up 18 from last time. This isn't as some of the other pollsters like Chanakya had predicted, 60 seats, once again being proven wrong, but 41 seats, that's what the BJP alliance has. The Congress is at 7, down 14 seats from last time. The JMM, and that's one of the critical stories here, was expected to be completely wiped out. That hasn't happened. In their tribal bastions, the JMM has held on. The JVM is at 6, down 5 from last time. Rajdeep, the JMM holding on. Do you think the BJP would be happy with the final tally, or would they have been happier with 45-50?
You know, take a look at what happened, Rahul. If you compare what the BJP has done now to what they did during the general election, there they won 54 assembly constituencies they were leading as an assembly segment. Now they are down to 41. That could go up by a couple of more seats. But they've obviously not done as well as they did in the general elections. But their local unit is not as strong. And I think there's a lesson there for the BJP again, that unless you strengthen your local units in Jharkhand, how long are you only going to rely on Narendra Modi? It's worked this time, but it won't work all the time. So I think Jharkhand also has a sobering message there. But I think beyond that, the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha has emerged as the leading opposition party. The Congress has shrunk. And remember, the Congress was in tie-up with Nitish and Lalu. So this is going to be the tie-up for Bihar as well, which is the next big election for 2015. So there is a wake-up call that is being offered. And I like the way that you brought in the Chanakya connection, because Cicero is with us. Dhananjay Joshi gives himself the rather fancy name of Cicero as an exit pollster. But Dhananjay, your numbers, again, for a second time in a row, you've got reason to be
Take a bow, Dhananjay.
Dhananjay needs to take a bow because, you know, look, it's tough. I think people need to realize polling is not an arithmetic sum. But you've got more or less the results right. Are you surprised though that the BJP has not done as well in Jharkhand as you were? Because one survey of ours had pushed it.
As he expected.
No, as our poll suggested. Our poll suggested 50. Chanakya had gone up to as high as 60.
Right. We were expecting more like 46, 47.
45, yeah. So they're about 4-5 down to where we expected.
Right. And let's see where the tally actually closes.
What's the, have we got a percentage for the BJP in Jharkhand?
We haven't got the vote shares figures, but the figures that we have are at about 33-34%, and we had predicted 36. So let's see, by 5 o'clock we should have the vote share.
So Manini, there are two ways of looking at what's happened through the day today. One is that you've seen the BJP jump spectacularly in Jammu and Kashmir, pose its highest tally ever. Look at the whole state. Look at the whole state. The fact that they're at 25 where they've never been. And in Jharkhand, a state which has never seen a stable government, they've now come very close to being able to form a government by themselves. Is that not spectacular given where they were? Just so much hype has been built around the Amit Shah campaign machine that people would assume that it isn't as good as it could have been.
Because they have created the hype. Hope and hype are the two things that they thrive on, you know, and the hype sometimes trumps hope. But anyway, you can choose what is your benchmark as journalists. We're in the business of news, right? Do we see the benchmark as 5 years ago, which is a valid benchmark, or do we see it as 6 months ago? But when you talk about tectonic shift and spectacular gains, I mean, that's an old story. I mean, that's not yesterday's news. That was 6 months ago. We said that. And they'd reached such a peak. Congress was decimated. BJP was, I don't agree with Mr. Iyer. I think it is the biggest national party today. It's, you know, but after May 16th, if you just correlate the, 6 months, 1 year is a honeymoon for any government, and for a government which has come on such a, unprecedented scale, if you just sort of, what is the word?
Translate the
Lok Sabha figures to assembly. In Jharkhand, they should have got 54.
No, hold on.
No, let me complete.
Yes.
And they are the ones, they put up this hype of Mission 44. The whole idea was they are going to transcend the Jammu and Kashmir. That makes them a truly national party, not just in terms of numbers, but in terms of appeal. They've done phenomenally well in Jammu, but that was expected. It's a consolidation of the same Hindu vote that they've had elsewhere. And in Kashmir, they don't even get one seat.
No, but Malini, can I look at it the other way? Look at the audaciousness. Look at the audaciousness of the ambition of Modi and Shah. I keep mentioning it, that we want to get 44. And look at the limited nature of the Congress's appeal as expressed by Mr. Manishankar Iyer, who seems delighted that they've got 13 seats because those 13 seats may give them a share in power. No, I'm saying at the end of the day,
that's an old, the
BJP played for
that you go on repeating.
No, because
the fact that Congress is a declining force from what Congress used to be, and the BJP is an ascending force.
That's tectonic. Why is that
How
not
many
tectonic?
times it's tectonic?
The audacity to end up with no seats in Kashmir is tectonic. Why are you using this language? It's all right for Amit Shah to be hyper.
Probably. The media should not contribute to the hype.
I'm not contributing to the hype.
I am sort of disaggregate the hype.
No, but Manini, just the flip side is that look at where they were, look at where they've reached.
Look at where they were.
Is this a reality check then for the Bharatiya Janata Party that somehow Amit Shah had been able to convince people that he would be able to pull off electoral victory after electoral victory? The final tally in Jharkhand and the end result in Jammu and Kashmir, is that a reality check for your party, sir?
Certainly. I think the fact is from 2 to 282 was not an easy task for us. We had to fight a number of such problems encountered, put the party back on track. From 2 seats to 282, we have done all these things, and it is the sheer hard work and strategic moves that the party leadership and the workers have made. We have done a lot of homework on all these grounds, even in Jammu and Kashmir and even in Jharkhand. Like in Maharashtra, we had worked every constituency in front of us and looked at the problems of those constituencies, work out a different strategy for each and every constituency, project candidates. Sometimes projecting candidate became a problem for us because the moment you project a candidate, everybody else would gang up against him and see to it that he loses. So all these things have been worked out.
Rahul, just one piece of breaking news that Omar Abdullah has lost both his seats. So you'll get Omar Abdullah more in the studios now of Delhi than you would have had him in Srinagar. So he's lost both his seats.
With only 600 seats, 600 votes in his.
So he's lost both his seats. So I think the real defeat. Someone had asked me what happens in Jammu and Kashmir. I had actually thought that NC would do better than Congress. The Congress has surprised us a bit in Jammu and Kashmir. They've done better than expected, and I think you've got to give credit to Ghulam Nabi Azad there, because in his belt, of Doda, Kishtwar, I think they've done reasonably, plus picked up a few seats in the valley. On the other hand, the NC has gone down, and it's a sharp fall. He was on his own. His father is in London at the moment doing an operation, and Omar, all said and done, has tried his best, but obviously it's not been good enough. And I think he lost that mass connect. And there's a lesson for Rahul Gandhi and possibly for Omar Abdullah, that you are well-intentioned, but unless you're able to have that little bit extra of being a 24/7 politician today, it's going to become tougher and tougher.
Jyoti, you travelled through Kashmir before the elections. How much of the floods had a role to play in the final results? The fact that the floods happened so close to the elections, that really spiraled the anger across the valley against Omar.
Absolutely. I think you're absolutely right. The floods had a huge role to play, especially in the valley and especially Srinagar, which really bore the brunt of the fury of the floods. But I think it was really sad also when I met Omar Abdullah, and here he was in this little palace that belonged to the former Maharaja, and completely disconnected from the people. And by the way, he acknowledged that. He acknowledged the fact that his own administration, his own MLAs did not come out in the first few hours and days and talk to people. And I think what happened as a result of that is that here was the army and doing a very good job, as well as the National Disaster Relief Force, both of them doing a very good job. But when you had the missing MLAs, people who did not come out and reach out to the people of Srinagar, I think that had a huge impact. And I think Omar Abdullah realized that. But I think this double blow that he's lost, and you remember he left Gandarbal, which is his family turf in a sense, because he realized that the people of Gandarbal were not going to vote him in, and moved to Sonawar and to Birwa. I think he hoped that he would win from Birwa, but this double blow is I think cruel.
But I think Omar Abdullah. But I think Rahul raises a valid point about the floods, and I'd like to know even from Anuradha whether, and that's my view, that should these elections have been held at the time they were. You see, Omar Abdullah was the only party who was asking the election commission postpone the election, hold them in March. If you hold an election with the backdrop of such floods, where, really, let's be honest, no government beyond a point could have controlled what is nature's fury. I think Omar Abdullah sank with the waters of the rising Jhelum. He really had no chance. So even if he had any hope, and he, many would say that he'd already lost even in the May election, so he wouldn't have really recovered. But I think there's a question mark whether the timing of the election in Jammu and Kashmir were right. Should they have been held in March, after the government had been given a chance to do some rehabilitation work? He's suffered a double blow. He's had to bear the brunt of 6 years of anti-incumbency, and then on the eve of the elections, you have these devastating floods. No way. He was out, down and out. He's lucky that he's even getting 11 seats in a way. Do you agree with that, Anuradha, that the timing of the election?
I don't agree that you can give Omar Abdullah a clean chit. Okay,
I'm not giving him a clean chit. No, I'm just saying that he had a double blow.
Yes, at one level, yes. But he didn't do anything. I mean, he had the whole night. If you listen to the narratives of the people, the night before the floods, there are people moving out and moving in closer to the Jhelum Band, seeing the water level. There's nobody from the government, nobody from the police, nobody from the government. He had all the time to mobilize them at that point of time, which he did not.
You are saying he was a failed CM? He's a failed CM for you?
He's a failed CM. And it's not just the floods that have contributed to his failure. Had that been so, in the Lok Sabha elections, it would not have been a clean sweep for the PDP. It's been an anger that has accumulated from 2008 onwards, especially 2009, the Shopian rapes and murders, 2010 killings, Afzal Guru hanging. I mean, these are a lot of things. And apart from that, the governance issues. He's completely and miserably failed in having a proper, accountability system. The state accountability commission that there was during the Modi time.
Just one correction, Rahul, that apparently somebody is telling me that actually BJP is leading in 3 of the 4 seats in the Azad belt. So we'll have to see that, because that's interesting. There are 11 seats in Jammu and Kashmir, in Jammu, which are Muslim majority. And it'll be interesting to see how many of those BJP is leading in. Because the BJP leading in even 4 or 5 of them, that is some breakthrough that the party has made there. That's right. That's right. They played a Gujarat. They played the Gujarat.
No, but there's a critical challenge for Omar Abdullah in this defeat. And Jyoti, I want your thoughts on that. One is the Rahul Gandhi kind of response, where he gets disconnected from politics, goes abroad, spends time outside, isn't as politically connected as he would have been if he'd been in power, or he actually spends time in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, he's been accused in the past of being a Delhi chief minister, of being a weekday only chief minister. Weekends he comes to Delhi, spends time with family and friends over here. Do you see him respond like Rahul Gandhi, or do you see him respond by being rooted to the ground in Kashmir?
I think Omar Abdullah realized everything that you're saying. Even when Afzal Guru was hanged, remember that he was in Delhi when he got to know about that decision. Having said that, I think you have to give him a little bit of a longer rope. I think he's realized what's happened in the last 6 years. And remember, he's the one who also talked about the removal of the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. He kept saying that let us at least tone it down. Let's at least withdraw the Disturbed Areas Act or the Public Safety. You know, he realizes that he could have done much, much more. But I think to his credit, and I think he's learned that lesson, he will stay on the ground. During the floods, for example, he was the first one to say that we were the ones that messed up. And that lesson, I don't know if Rahul Gandhi has learned that lesson, but I think Omar Abdullah has. And can I just make a quick last point about why the floods? You asked Rajdeep, why were the elections held now so close to the floods? I think the truth is that the BJP wanted those elections now.
I know,
they've said before that we've had elections in Jammu and Kashmir up to December. So why is it that we can't have it now? And remember that the flood money, a large amount of that 1,000 crores that Prime Minister Modi promised, was dispersed. But guess what? A lot of it, about 500 crores, was taken away on the expenditure that was used on the army as well as the National Disaster Relief Force. If 500 crores out of 1,000 crores is going to be used up by the army and the NDRF, I think that's not fair to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. To that extent, Omar Abdullah is right. I think that the money should have been given and should have been disbursed through the state government.
That's my point.
So that's cynical.
Rajdeep, I have a point here.
Yes,
I'll tell you. Floods or no floods?
Yes.
I would like you to span back to Uttarakhand.
Yes.
We had one of the worst disasters.
Yes.
What happened was the Congress chief minister then messed up the whole issue. But another congressman, Rawat, was very much on the scene. More than the chief minister, it was another congressman who was a minister in Delhi, was the one who did... Which
leads me to the point, and maybe we can take a break on that point.
People see.
You're saying it is possible for a chief minister to use the floods could have been an opportunity also for Omar Abdullah to
where he failed miserably.
Before we take a break, Manish Shankar, at the point I raised, I know you said that, dynasty politics is something we cannot make large comments on, but Omar Abdullah, as Rahul says, much like Rahul Gandhi, for a long time, people felt he was part of this entitled elite who were there simply because they were their father's sons. And sooner or later, people ask hard questions of you. Omar Abdullah has been asked those hard questions in a tough state. Do you believe that's the challenge then? For all these politicians who come from these privileged homes to start working on the ground, to spend more time. You know, you've got to be on the shop floor. For Omar Abdullah, the last 6 years has been a training in a sense. Rahul Gandhi perhaps hasn't even had that, of actually working hard on the shop floor.
The first person to say that he's burdened by the fact of having been born with privilege is Rahul Gandhi. He has been saying it again and again.
And he has to do something about it after that.
And what he has to do about it is to be able to be in a position where he can do what he wishes to do. He is not the president of the Congress. And there are problems that have arisen. That's one of the reasons why it's taking a little time for the Congress party to stand up and say, this is the direction we're going, and this is the way in which we're going to go. It is towards that things are moving, and that is why I'm hopeful that in 2015, we'll really see that we have launched ourselves out of 2014.
Okay, that's similar to what Omar Abdullah also keeps saying, that he has an old party that he wants to change. So clearly, Omar Abdullah wants to change the National Conference, Rahul Gandhi wants to change the Congress. But at the moment, the voters have changed Omar Abdullah before he can change the National Conference. Let's take a break.